Imagine the ultimate darkness, not just the absence of light, but a crushing blackness that presses in from all sides. You are 100 feet beneath the Atlantic Ocean, the pressure immense, the silence broken only by your frantic heartbeat and the groaning of a dying ship. This was Harrison Okene's reality, trapped, alone, with no way out and little hope of rescue. He was just a ship's cook, not a diver or survival expert. But when disaster struck, he found a strength he never knew he had. Plunged into a terrifying, upside-down world, every second was a battle against cold, darkness, and despair. Survival isn't about tools or training, it's about mindset. Harrison's prison was a 4-foot air pocket inside the engineer's office of a sunken tugboat, surrounded by a watery grave. He was the sole survivor, though he didn't know it yet. All he knew was the bone-chilling, cold, suffocating darkness, and the terrifying loneliness of being the last man alive in a tomb of twisted metal. The will to live became his most important tool. When you have nothing left, hope is your compass. Harrison's journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Even in the deepest, darkest place imaginable, you must never give up. Because sometimes, against all odds, a hand reaches through the darkness. May 26, 2013, began like any other for Harrison Okene, cook aboard the Jascon 4 tugboat off the coast of Nigeria. The sea was choppy, but nothing unusual for the crew. Harrison was in the galley, preparing breakfast, unaware of the catastrophe about to unfold. Suddenly, a rogue wave slammed into the tugboat, tossing it aside like a toy. Alarms blared, men shouted, and chaos erupted as the boat capsized. Harrison was thrown from his feet, water pouring in, turning hallways into torrents. The ship was sinking fast, plunging into darkness. The Jascon 4 hit the seabed upside down, 100 feet below the waves. For most, this was the end. The pressure, darkness, and lack of air made survival impossible. Harrison, trapped in a small toilet, found himself in a steel coffin at the bottom of the ocean. The journey from a normal morning to an underwater nightmare took only minutes. Disoriented and alone, he faced the unimaginable. The sea, once his workplace, had become a predator. Now survival was all that mattered. In the aftermath, Harrison fought against rushing water and debris in total darkness. Instinct drove him to escape the torrent, and he was pushed into the engineer's office. As the ship settled, the water stopped rising. He'd found a precious air pocket. The world was upside down. The floor was now the ceiling, submerged beneath water. Shivering in his boxer shorts, he pulled himself onto a small platform, surrounded by floating debris. Exploring by touch, he found a plank to keep himself out of the icy water. A small victory. Every action was a step away from giving up. The reality set in. He was trapped, the air finite, with no food or fresh water. He called out for his crewmates, but only silence and the eerie groans of the ship replied. The isolation was suffocating. His world had shrunk to a tiny, fragile bubble of air. Survival depended on every decision he made in the dark. The air pocket was both miracle and prison, 4 feet high, a fragile bubble of life. Every breath used up precious oxygen, and carbon dioxide slowly poisoned the air. Harrison fought panic, controlling his breathing to conserve what little he had. Thirst became an obsession, but the only water was deadly salt water. Luck was on his side. Condensation from the air conditioning dripped down the wall, and he licked the moisture for survival. Darkness was absolute. Time lost all meaning, and his mind struggled to stay grounded. He found a small hammer and began tapping on the hull, a desperate signal to the world above. Tap, tap, tap. It was defiance, a declaration that he was still alive. This simple rhythm was his only connection to hope. The air pocket was shrinking, but he refused to surrender. Every small act was a fight against despair. In the silence, he clung to the hope that someone, somewhere, might hear. The will to survive was his only weapon, and he wielded it with every breath. Hours stretched into eternity as Harrison battled cold, thirst, and fear. Shivering violently, he huddled on his makeshift platform, fighting hypothermia. Fear was constant, of dying alone, of what lurked in the water below. He heard the sounds of the sea, distorted and terrifying, and dared not enter the water. Thirst was torture. The few drops of condensation barely eased his suffering. Dehydration clouded his mind, but he resisted the deadly urge to drink salt water. His body weakened, exhaustion set in, and hope began to fade. He was trapped in a cycle of fear and cold at the edge of human endurance. Yet he clung to life, refusing to let go. After more than 2 days in darkness, Harrison's mind began to fracture. Hallucinations crept in. He heard voices, imagined conversations with lost crewmates. The line between reality and illusion blurred. In desperation, he turned to faith, reciting the last psalm his wife had sent him.
"Oh God, by your name, save me. The Lord sustains my life." The words became his mantra, a shield against despair. Memories of his wife and family gave him strength and a reason to fight. "If I ever get out, I'll never go to sea again. I'll dedicate my life to my family and faith." Thoughts of the future became a vital source of motivation. He made peace with the idea of death, but refused to let fear be his final feeling. "If I am going to die, I will die praying." Acceptance gave him control. He was no longer just a victim. This mental shift was crucial, allowing him to hold on a little longer. Faith and hope became his lifelines in the abyss.
On the surface, a recovery operation began. No one expected survivors. Saturation divers entered the wreck, prepared for a grim task. Diver Nico van Heerden moved through the sunken ship, finding bodies. As he reached the engineer's office, a hand reached out from the water. Expecting a body, he was shocked when the hand grabbed him back.
"There's a survivor, he's alive."
The news stunned the crew above, a miracle unfolding 100 feet below. In the air pocket, Harrison heard metallic tapping, at first thinking it was another hallucination. The sound grew louder, it was the divers. Hope surged. He banged on the wall with his hammer, desperate to be found. Tap, tap, tap. He saw a flashlight beam cut through the water. He plunged his hand in, praying someone would see. Against all odds, rescue had come. The diver's touch changed everything. After 60 hours alone, Harrison was no longer isolated. Light flooded the air pocket, blinding after days in darkness.
Thumbs up. You're okay? You're safe now?
Relief overwhelmed Harrison. Tears streamed down his face.
"Thank you. Thank you so much." The diver gave him fresh water, the first real drink in days. The rescue team shifted from recovery to a complex rescue operation. Harrison's body was saturated with nitrogen. A rapid ascent would be fatal. The divers fitted him with a helmet and began the slow, careful process of extraction. Every step was a journey toward life.
Getting Harrison to the surface was a life-or-death challenge. He was placed in a diving bell, then transferred to a decompression chamber for 2 days as the pressure was slowly reduced. Inside, he was cared for by the diver who found him and a medical technician. He learned he was the only survivor. All 11 crewmates had died. The joy of survival was mixed with profound grief.
"Harrison, you are alive. Thank God. I have been praying for you every hour."
"I am so sorry for the others. I wish I could have helped them. I will never forget them." After 2 days, Harrison stepped out onto the deck, breathing fresh air for the first time in nearly 5 days. His survival was hailed as a miracle worldwide. Medical experts were stunned. His odds of survival were astronomically small. True to his promise, Harrison never returned to sea. He found work on land, haunted by nightmares, but grateful for life. "Every day I wake up, I thank God. I know now that hope is a choice. You have to keep fighting, even when you think you cannot."
Harrison's story is a powerful testament to the human will to live. Hope is not passive, it's the decision to tap on a wall in the dark, to keep fighting when everything tells you to give up. Even in the deepest abyss, the human spirit can find a way to survive. Harrison Okene's ordeal reminds us never give up, no matter how dark it gets. Sometimes a hand will reach through the darkness, and that is a moment worth living for.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.